Bill Henshaw here again, Constitutional Kook headquarters. And you might not be surprised, this video is going to be on the recent OSHA case with oral argument in the Supreme Court. I listened to the 2 hours of it. And the good news, and even the malignant, mindless mainstream media is conceding that we are going to win this case. What we don't know is the scope of the decision and who's going to write it. I think if it's 5-4, meaning that Roberts is on the other side, then it might be written by Amy Coney Barrett. Because what you do in a case like that is you pick the justice that has the weakest vote and could possibly change the vote, which probably won't happen here. But if they write the opinion, everybody else agrees to it, you got 5. So it could go that way. If it's 6-3, with Roberts in the majority, as Chief Justice, he has the prerogative to write the opinion and probably will do so in an attempt to minimize the impact of the majority opinion anyway. In either case, I expect concurrences by Alito and Thomas, and of course the dissent from the usual idiots, Sotomayor, Elena Kaganov, and Breyer. And we'll see what they do. And what I hope they do is follow the Fifth Circuit, who they're going to support, and especially with the issue of interstate commerce. Now, to be sure, this wasn't mentioned much in the oral argument, and nobody responded to it, especially the Solicitor General. But I would love to see an opinion that addresses that issue. That's one of the biggest problems we have is all this interstate commerce crap. It's been going on for almost 90 years now since the New Deal and the switch in time that saved 9 with NLRB versus Jones and Laughlin Steel, 301 US 1. Everything today is interstate commerce. I've said it often. And if that's the case, that's admiralty jurisdiction, a jurisdiction state courts can't exercise. Article 3, Section 2. So you get into their courts, traffic court, FTB, family court, whatever the hell it is, where are you? We don't know. And I don't think they do either, or they certainly don't want to admit it, because if they're exercising Commerce Clause powers, they are not acting in any official capacity, and they are therefore personally liable for every act or omission that they commit, with the Supreme Court of the United States, as I've said frequently, having said, to exercise jurisdiction you don't have, or not to exercise it when you do, the one or the other is treason to the Constitution. This is how we're going to beat the bastards. Make them pay. It is what it is. If that's the law of the land, if the Constitution remains in full force and effect, and especially if we have sovereign independent states admitted into this union, it's a no-brainer. Erwin Chemerinsky. People like you are berserk who don't know this, don't teach it, don't care. Well, that's what it is we're trying to change here. And that's been my job going into my 40th year next month. I can't believe I'm saying that. But it is what it is. It's what I was put here to do. It would have been nice if I had been taught in high school 50 years ago. I got a hell of a head start on it. But I've gotten to where I've gotten, and I'm trying to help everyone out here so you can help yourselves, teach your children and your posterity to get out from under this corrupt system and put an end to it. We never belong to it. We don't need it. We don't want it. Simple. So we'll see how far this decision goes in the OSHA case toward that goal. Those of you who've been watching my videos for a while, during the last term of the court, in 2021 and early in 2021, I was very enthused when they mentioned the case of Cohen's v. Virginia and a couple of what looked like dissents by Alito and Thomas, and they're not. Because if you understand that case, and you will, and oh, by the way, you'll learn a lot more about that. Send me a request for materials. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And this is what you'll learn, all I've learned over the course of this time. And I've put in 10,000 hours in those musty old stacks of law books, usually berserkly back in the day when I could get in there, and Hastings College in San Francisco. course, I can't get there, in any case today because I got no ID that they recognize, and I'm unvaccinated. See you. So it is the way it is. Fortunately, with internet, I can do a lot of what I did in the law libraries. I'm glad I did that. Took that time though. It was important, and it was a good way for me to learn. And it's a lot more than names, dates, and places. It's perspective. Once you understand that, and I didn't get it right away either. Trust me, it took a while. The magnitude of the scam they're pulling off here. But once you get through all that crap and understand what's really going on, oh, that's when. And it's one reason here I'm in my 74th year. Life is ahead of me. I don't waste time worrying about all this crap they're putting on now with, the OSHA case and all that. Wow, I just don't even take any notice of it. I haven't been sick in my whole life up until, 2020, when I got enlarged prostate. And the funny thing is, I go into the hospital and they asked me for a medical history, and I laughed and I said, I don't have one. So I've been very fortunate with good health my entire life. I've been thankful for that every day. Then again, I don't abuse things, don't smoke, don't drink, never did much in the way of substance abuse or anything like that. And I think that's helped a long way with a lot of things here. So hopefully the good health continues. I can still give them help for the next 8 or 10 or 12 years with family genes. And the COD for me isn't going to be COVID. It's going to be pneumonia when the time comes. So we'll see how all that works out. But getting back to current events, this is exciting here. And we'll see, this could be the stepping stone to them doing the same kind of outreach in other cases, pending further developments, especially if they address the interstate commerce issue. And for those of you that don't know, in that almost 90 years, they only had one case, one case is US v. Lopez, 514 US 549, where they actually limited the Commerce Clause powers of Congress. And wouldn't you know, Justice Thomas wrote a concurring opinion in that case, as did Justice O'Connor, who's now retired and still alive at the age of about 95. And that's what I hope to see in this case. And I don't think Commerce are going to be featured in the main opinion, howsoever it happens. But I certainly would like to see, a concurring opinion, by the two justices, and maybe more than that. That's a little tricky business on the court. You don't want to overdo things. But if we get Alito and Thomas doing a concurring opinion, that's going to be well worth reading. But it's exciting news, and hopefully the start of good things for us across the board here against these usurpers, thieves, you name it. It just has to stop. If we have a federated Republican form of government of defined and limited powers, it's about damn time we get back to it. You can help do that. Be a part of it, just like I am. Send me a request for information. youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And I'll get you information back on my modestly priced constitutional defense document packets and the multiple unopposed issues we have. It's amazing when you realize the power that we have and that we're supposed to have pursuant to the original intent of the framers. And like what I did in my South Carolina case that I mentioned before, and I got there, it hauled me across the country from A to B, took 2 months to get there, 4 different federal unmarked military aircraft. What did that tell you about the jurisdiction? And I got there, and they expected they're going to have me beaten down so bad it was going to be a piece of cake. And I stood right up there, shackled hand and foot in a red jail suit, and shut them up cold in 30 seconds. That's a video. It's $1 million video if I had it, which they claim not to make in a court of record. But that said, that kind of feeling, and if they had taught me that 50 years ago in school, like they should have taught you, that this is what we're supposed to be doing. We tell them what to do, not the other way around. It's the first and only nation ever created in which that was true. And I hope it will be soon again. That's what all my time and effort is going to. It's 24/7 for me. And I've been all in my 15th year now. I can't even apply for a job, even I want to work, quote unquote, as an employee, quote unquote. but it's been worthwhile. It's what I was put here to do. And I know, and as I say sometimes on my videos, I think I'm a refugee from the mid 19th century, not mid 20th. Don't know how I got here. Have to ask Elon Musk or Bill Gates about that probably. Um, but yeah, things were, it wasn't perfect in any time in American history, by the way. I'm not saying that, but things were so much better earlier on, especially in the first 75 or 100 years, when we actually did have a lot of liberty and freedom and, the government that we're supposed to have. And like I said, it wasn't perfect, but we got back to that and go away from the democracy that we have, 3 wolves, 2 sheep voting on what's for dinner. We can then make changes in accordance with the Constitution, not in contravention of it. And that's what's happened ever since at least the 13th Amendment, if not the 11th and 12th. That's a video for another day. But and you'll learn about that 14th Amendment, how not only it doesn't exist, it never did. And that's the only body politic they recognize. What is that? That's a subordinate corporate body politic. That's all it is and all it ever has been, but it doesn't exist. And that's the only jurisdiction they have in their courts. Inc. We start making objections to that early on, and I do a really good job of that with my modestly priced materials. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And these documents work just about across the board. I mean, if you're dealing with a mortgage bankster, for example, with a foreclosure or a student loan, family law, which may even be worse than the others, if that's possible, quote unquote criminal stuff, when you find out all the criminal stuff is really federal uh, public offenses that are commercial crimes, which is admiralty jurisdiction. I mean, it's all astounding. They just don't have a legal leg to stand on and are never going to have one. That's the exciting part. Once you learn the truth, it does indeed set you free. So that said, I'll have a follow-up on this when they make the decision. I'm not expecting it this soon. In theory, it could come on decision Monday, which is tomorrow, but they may take at least a little time. We'll see how that part plays out, and they may have a regular schedule this week with other oral arguments and this, that, and the other. So when that comes down, I'll do a video, get you updated on it, and give you my take on it, and we can go from there. Meanwhile, subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. The sooner we start all working together, Africans, Americans, and Asians, and cut out this divide and conquer crap, the better off we'll be, and the quicker we get these bastards off our backs. Thank you.